Dr. Mustafa?
Yeah, slides are appearing. We will start video after 2 minutes.
Okay.
منذ الأزل أدرك إنسان هذه الأرض معطيات بيئته فتفاعل معها فعرفت بمجال أرض النحاس وأرض الصخور وأرض السفن ثم عمان إعلاء للحياة وعزائم صنعها. فمن بين جنبات الصخر يشق العماني أفلاجا تحيل جدباء الأرض حقولا غناء وقرى عامرة بالحياة، ومن نباتات أوديتها وجبالها الشماء أدوية ومرعا وغذاء، ولبانا يعبق عطره بين بني الإنسان في شتى أصقاع الدنيا. ومن البحر الناضح بساحتنا ينسج العماني بسفنه وشائج التواصل الإنساني البناء. بل حتى سكون الصحراء يضحى لديه ملهما لإبداعات الفكر، فإذا الخليل يصوغ موسيقى الشعر بحورا وحروف العربية في العين قاموسا. ابتكارات عمانية سباقة ترفض مسيرة الحضارة الإنسانية جمعاء. وحيث إن الإنسان هو هدف التنمية وصانعها في فكر باني عمان الحديثة، تأتي المباركة السامية بإنشاء جامعة نزوة كمؤسسة علمية أهلية ذات نفع عام إحياء لإرث علمي متجذر لطالما مد الأمة بأدباء وعلماء وقادة عظماء. فتولد جامعة نزوة برؤية سامقة متجددة، منارة علم ورشاد، ورسالة سامية تنشر الفكر الإيجابي وترسخ هوية الأمة وقيمها، فتغدو رافدا وطنيا فياضا من روافد بناء الإنسان بما توليه من قيم وبما تذكيه من فكر وقاد وبما تبنيه من معارف ومهارات تسمو بأصحابها، فتعلو بهم راية الوطن عالية خفاقة. هنا تتسع الخيارات والتخصصات، الرصينة في نظمها وتقديمها، المتناغمة مع تطلعات الوطن وإثراء الحياة وصنع النجاح. هنا يومض برق التأمل ويورق سيل الهمم في الريادة والإبداع. ويزهر فيض التجريب والاكتشاف. هنا يحلق الطالب في آفاق التطوع. ويغوص في محيطات الإبداع. ويسمو في فضاءات الوعي ليثقل كل ذلك بالإسناد والعمل التطبيقي. فيصوغ المستقبل عبر برامج الإنماء الطلابي التي تغرس فيه معاني الإتقان وحسن الإنجاز. هنا جامعة نزوة، غراس طيب في بستان عمان المزهر، ولبنة من لبنات هذا الوطن تعلي مجده وتعزز نهضته ونماءه. مترجمة الفكر النير لحضرة صاحب الجلالة السلطان قابوس بن سعيد المعظم، الذي أرسى دعائم الدولة العصرية الحديثة لعمان على أسس العلم والعدل.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. سعادة حليمة بنت راشد الزرعية المحترمة، رئيسة هيئة تنمية المؤسسات الصغيرة والمتوسطة، راعية حفل تدشين التقرير الوطني لمرصد ريادة الأعمال الخاص بالسلطنة لعام 2019-2020، الأستاذ الدكتور أحمد بن خلفان الرواحي رئيس الجامعة، ضيوفنا الكرام، السلام عليكم جميعا ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. وبعد، يسعدنا ويشرفنا وجودكم معنا في رحاب جامعة نزوة في هذا الحدث المهم على مستوى قطاع ريادة الأعمال في السلطنة. ونحتفل اليوم بتدشين هذا التقرير الوطني لأول مرة، والذي تم دعمه من قبل جامعة نزوة وبشراكة بحثية مع هيئة تنمية المؤسسات الصغيرة والمتوسطة. وسنشرع بإذن الله تعالى بعد قليل في برامج الفعالية التي ستكون باللغة الإنجليزية، شاكرين لكم حضوركم وتفاعلكم معنا. Please, Dr. Mustafa, you can start.
Thank you very much, Dr. Abdullah. Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum and a very good afternoon to all. On behalf of the University of Nizwa, I welcome you all to this very important event which has been organized to launch the first Oman Global Entrepreneurship Monitor report. Ladies and gentlemen, the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor is a networked consortium of national country teams primarily associated with top academic institutions that collect data on entrepreneurship and entrepreneurial ecosystems directly from individual entrepreneurs and through a population survey around the world. The Global Entrepreneurship Monitor report presents annual assessment of the national level in entrepreneurial activity in the member countries around the world. At present, it is the largest ongoing study of entrepreneurial dynamics in the world. In 2019, Oman for the first time became part of the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor, represented by a team of researchers from the College of Economics, Management and Information Systems at the University of Nizwa, Oman. The first Oman GEM National Report was published in February 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, we have with us today the experts and researchers who have been involved in this national survey, and they will be talking about this report in detail. Before we proceed further, may I request all the participants to mute their microphones and do not stop your videos, cameras. And if you have any questions and queries, please post them into the chat box. Our presenters, after each presentation, will pick up the questions and respond to them. Thank you very much for your cooperation. Now I would request Ms. Fatima to proceed with the proceedings.
Thank you, Dr. Mustafa. Thank you, Dr. Abdullah AlShukaili. Ladies and gentlemen, this afternoon we have with us Her Excellency Halima Al Zari, the Chairperson of Authority of Small and Medium Enterprises in Oman, and who will provide the opening remarks of today's webinar. May I invite Her Excellency Halima Al Zari to kindly provide the opening remarks. The virtual stage is yours, Madam.
Good afternoon to all. Assalamu alaikum from Oman. First of all, I would like to thank everybody for your kind invitation for attending the launching for this event, which aim to support the SME sector. Special thanks to Nizwa University and our also partners from international team from the Global Entrepreneurship Monitoring. And we are so pleased to launch the first national report of GEM of Oman 2019-2020. We believe it's a very big achievement, especially at this stage. And we believe also these certain data and information from the survey and from the report will contribute to enhance the SMEs ecosystem in Oman, and also will help us for the further planning and development towards innovation and innovative entrepreneurship sectors in Oman. The Royal Decree recently, which is number 107/2020, established the new Authority of Small and Medium Enterprises Development. It comes to strengthen also the contribution of SMEs in our local economy in terms of diversification of the economy, and also we believe that it will increase the contribution to our national GDP. In 2018, I remember that the National Center for Information and Statistics measured the contribution of our SMEs in Oman to be almost 16%. And we believe that all of these policies, all of these initiatives will support the SMEs in Oman towards a potential and to enhance the increasing of their contribution to GDP, and also to diversification of the economy in Oman, as everybody knows that it depends on oil industry. And also we believe that it will increase also source of income and job opportunities for our entrepreneurs and our people also here in Oman. I'm so happy that we're becoming part of this initiative, and we are so happy that we receive all these kind of reports, which we believe that will help us in the coming 5 years. We are planning this for the 5 years plan, and to put a lot of government policies, a lot of initiatives to support our SMEs sector, and to also enhance the holistic system strategy for our SMEs in Oman. Recently, we are planning. I noticed in the report there are many challenges, and we believe that in the coming 5 years we overcome all of these challenges in terms of policies and laws for SMEs, in terms of access and helping our SMEs to access the local and international markets. We notice also from the report there is a gap in our education system, and we totally understand in the coming years that we should also focus on in this aspect. So thank you so much again for our partner from Oman, from also other international partners. We are so happy, we are so welcome to join different collaboration with the local and international entities from the private and from the public sector, and we believe this is a start for us to overcome all of these challenges, all of these kind of initiatives and studies and research and reports. We believe that it will help us in planning for the next year especially. So again, thank you so much for University of Nizwa, and thank you so much for our friends from outside Oman as well, for all the researchers, for all the experts and academic. And inshallah, we will take further the actions that mentioned in the report, and we try to implement it in our policies, inshallah. Thank you so much, and I wish that all benefits and successful events for everybody. Shukran. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Her Excellency Halima Al Zari. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, let me now invite Professor Eileen Summers, the Executive Directors of GEM Consortium, and Dr. Abdullah AlShukaili, the Executive Director of Entrepreneurship Center at University of Nizwa, to provide an overview of the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor Consortium and the Oman National Report 2019-2020. Dear audience, Professor Eileen Summers is the Executive Director at the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor since February 2019. Her main objective at GEM is to ensure that GEM is increasingly perceived as the world-class reference for data-driven entrepreneurship, knowledge, and expertise worldwide. Eileen is a highly experienced academic researcher, teacher, and an author of books, case studies, journals, newspapers, and articles. Dr. Abdullah AlShukaili is the Executive Director of Entrepreneurship Center at University of Nizwa. Dr. Abdullah has his PhD in Entrepreneurship Development with a focus in Oman. He has been the focal point at the University of Nizwa in its engagement with GEM Consortium. He is leading a team of 5 members or 5 researchers to prepare the Oman National Report as part of the GEM every year. Dr. Eileen and Dr. Abdullah, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much. I believe it is my turn to talk, and I would like to say thank you very much for this invitation to address both our distinguished speakers and participants. It's 21 years since the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor conducted its first inaugural survey of entrepreneurship in 10 developed economies in 1999. And since then, GEM has surveyed over 3 million adults in 115 economies. GEM's research has produced 21 years of data on rates of entrepreneurship across multiple phases of the process, profiled entrepreneurs, including demographics, motivations and ambitions, as well as characteristics of their businesses, such as the level of innovativeness and industry participation. In addition, GEM uncovers a range of insights across the adult populations of the economies it has studied, with multiple measures of societal attitudes, self-perceptions and affiliations relative to entrepreneurship. 21 annual global reports have highlighted these results. They can be downloaded from our website. And each year these are launched at the GEM annual meeting in sponsor locations all around the world. So research teams in each GEM economy then issue national reports, one of which great pleasure that it is being launched today, the Oman Report. And these provide a more detailed examination of entrepreneurship in these specific economies, including changes from prior years and leveraging local knowledge about the nature of entrepreneurship and relevant conditions and initiatives influencing this activity. Regional reports that GEM has produced in the past have examined entrepreneurship in Africa, the Middle East, Southeast Asia, Latin America, the Caribbean, and Europe. GEM has also researched particular special topics relevant to entrepreneurship. We have just published in September a policy impact report, which scrutinizes with the participation of all our 50 national teams. It scrutinizes the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on entrepreneurship and the reactions of policymakers to the rather dramatic events that are happening around the world. But we have also produced special reports on women's entrepreneurship, high growth oriented entrepreneurship, entrepreneurship education and training, employee entrepreneurship, social entrepreneurship, youth and senior entrepreneurship, and we are just about to launch a report on family business entrepreneurship. So GEM results have been very highly publicized in the media, in well-known global news publications, the Wall Street Journal, The Economist, the Financial Times, Business Week, Fortune, Forbes, and Entrepreneur. But at least as important as this is GEM's extensive reach into local, regional, and national news outlets. This has resulted in a broad dissemination of GEM discoveries, influencing how the public, and more specifically, how relevant practitioner and policy audiences understand and address entrepreneurship. And that is not all. Today, we are virtually at a university. Researchers around the world have produced over 650 peer-reviewed research publications using GEM data. The research has been combined, our data has been combined with data from the World Economic Forum, the World Bank, the Heritage Foundation, Transparency International, and other sources. GEM representatives have presented research findings at the United Nations, the World Bank, the OECD, the US State Department, the African Union, the Ibero-American Association, the International Development Research Center, and at many national, regional, and global events. And for educators, GEM has served as an informative source to teach university students about entrepreneurship in other countries. GEM is actually very unique, and I think in this next part of this session, you will begin to see just how unique it is. It's a primary source of data, and it is the only global research source that collects data on entrepreneurship directly from individual entrepreneurs. And with that, I would like to hand over to Dr. Abdullah AlShukaili. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Aileen. Okay. Is it visible now, the slide? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. His Excellency Halima Al Zari, Chairperson of the Authority of SMEs Development, Professor Ahmed, Chancellor, University of Nizwa. Our guests from GEM, Prof. Eileen and Prof. Alicia. Our respected academic researchers, students, and all our guests from Oman entrepreneurial ecosystems. You are most welcome today. I would like to welcome you to the launch of the first Oman Global Entrepreneurship Monitor report. In this presentation, I'm going to brief you about this national project. And as we listen exactly now to Prof. Eileen, she has mentioned about the GEM, and she gave information about the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor as the one of the world's foremost study of entrepreneurship, which has a lot of information and comprehensive data about the entrepreneurship and these entrepreneurial activities. As Oman exactly strives to diversity its economy, and along with national effort to develop an entrepreneurial environment, as well promoting entrepreneurship and innovation as one of the main strategy pillars for Oman Vision. It comes the initiative from University of Nizwa to join the GEM. And exactly, we have started the process of registration since last year from March to May 2019. And the first time Oman joined the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor was last year in May 2019. After that, we have started to prepare the proposal of data collection, which was approved in June 2019. And after that, the data collection process has been started since July to September 2019. In October 2019, we have already finished collecting the data and submitted the data to the GEM. Between November 2019 and January 2020, we have started the process of data analysis and writing this national report. In this year, in March 2020, we celebrated with the global members for the launching of the GEM Global Report, and it was the first time Oman was included in that global report. The sponsor of this institution is University of Nizwa, is the logistic and financial support, and our partner sponsor is the Authority for Small and Medium Enterprises. And the University of Nizwa Entrepreneurship is the anchor for this international project. This is the team of members. So the Sultanate of Oman GEM team members, as we said, was established in May 2019 under the University of Nizwa Entrepreneurship Center, which is supported by the College of Economic Management and Information System at University of Nizwa. We can look to the GEM, why it is important for Oman and why we join exactly this GEM report. The GEM report, they provides rates of entrepreneurial activities across multiple phases and assist the characteristics, motivation, ambitions of entrepreneur, as well as the attitudes of the Omani society toward each activity, so that we can find all of these primary data can be provided by the GEM report. So therefore, the policy makers, they can have like this position or like this screen position, which they can see all of these entrepreneurial activities in the country, and they can comprise all exactly the figures and finding of the Oman GEM report to some global entrepreneurial activities. Add to that, these data or these, we collected more than 300 variables in our data. So this data can be used for the entrepreneurship research, and we can promote the research on entrepreneurship in Oman, and this can also will help to increase the publication in top journals. As well, this will provide a detailed profiles of all of the information and indicators about entrepreneurial characteristics, as well the entrepreneurial activities characteristics. Addition to that, so once we have these data, so this can help the postgraduate students in their studies, and this can help the master students and PhD students in order to conduct their thesis and their dissertations. So therefore, the national team is responsible for collecting GEM data based on that standardized format which is sent from the GEM, and also the national team add any questions which is related to the national country. Also, the national team is responsible for producing the national report on their finding, acting as the point of contact for all of the GEM inquiries, and they have also to raise the yearly fund in order to conduct the project. For the methodology, this is the formal methodology used by the GEM, which is using two main surveys. The first one is called the Adult Population Survey, and the second one is the National Expert Survey. The Adult Population Survey is the main GEM instrument used exactly to investigate the role of individuals in the life cycle of the entrepreneurial process. In Oman, exactly, we used the random digital dialing to generate the sample numbers on the age of 18 to 64 in order to get these 2,000 sample which should be used in the adult population survey. The second survey is the National Experts Survey, which is the main of this survey is to get information about the quality of the entrepreneurial national condition. In this table, this shows the APS, the Adult Population Survey field worksheet, including the technical details regarding the sampling, the methodology applies to the survey, and our partners vendor for collecting data is Horizon Statistical Consulting, which has the role of collecting data as well conducting the pilot test, field work, quality control, and data entry. In the ABS survey, this survey tried to find information and gathering information in those 6 blocks. And in the NES expert survey, or the National Expert Survey, also they tried to get information on those also 9 blocks, which is related, as we mentioned, about the national quality system of entrepreneurial activities. So we are today we are very glad to celebrate together for launching the first Oman GEM National Report, which contains 2,000 individuals participated in the ABS, 36 experts participated in the NES survey, more than 300 variables they used for analysis. It has around 58 figures and 37 tables, contains more than 120 pages. The Oman National GEM Report includes 10 chapters. The first chapter is about a briefing about the GEM and the conceptual framework. The second one is about the perception of social values related to Omanis entrepreneurs. And the third one, also the individual self-perception. The fourth chapter is talking about entrepreneurial business activities in different phases. And I would like to mention that this survey is not only just targeted entrepreneur. No, it is targeted all of the individuals and all of the adults in Oman by taking that sampling of 2,000 national individuals. In chapter 5, this chapter is talking about the motivation, why Omanis, or what motivate Omanis to start entrepreneurial activities. In chapter 6 and chapter 7, both of them, they talk about the characteristics of the entrepreneurial and entrepreneurs. And in chapter 8, this chapter is talking about the financial support, and mainly is about the informal investment activity. Chapter 9 is talking about the entrepreneurial mindset. And in the last chapter, this chapter is talking about the perception of the qualities of the national entrepreneurship framework condition, which is talking about the entrepreneurial ecosystem in Oman. Finally, exactly this project, the budget of this project is around 37 thousand Riyal Omani, and most of this cost is going for collecting the adult population survey. As well, there is a fees which paying for the GEM consortium in order to get their support in conducting the survey. This is the end of my presentation. Thank you so much for being with us today. Dr. Mustafa.
Thank you very much, Professor Aline and Dr. Abdullah, for providing very important and informative insights about the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor, as well as the preparation of Oman National Report and the process that is followed in the preparation of this report. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, now I would like to request Professor Ahmed Al-Rawahi, Honorable Chancellor of the University of Nizwa, to release the Oman GEM National Report 2019-20 and say a few words on today's event, as well as the University of Nizwa's efforts towards building entrepreneurial capacity in the country. May I request you, sir, to release the report.
Thank you, Dr. Mustafa, and thanks everyone for participating in this important event. I like first of all to thank Her Excellency Halima Al Zari for inaugurating this event and being with us in this important event. Also, I like to welcome and thanks Professor Alicia and Professor Eileen from the GEM for really allowing us their expertise and sharing their wisdom with all the ecosystem community in Oman. Engineer Ibrahim Al-Husni, I also like to thank him for participating, and we hope really that this effort from the University of Nizwa support the growth and development of the entrepreneurship sector in Oman. University of Nizwa, as you are all aware, is really itself an entrepreneurial initiative, and that is why it also adopted and created or established this Center for Entrepreneurship to support not only teaching the young Omanis the principles and ideas and concept of entrepreneurship, but to do the research and provide societal services to support this ecosystem. We are glad really now that after a short time, the national team have managed to do their full work of preparing the survey and conducting it, and also analyzing and submitting the report, the global portion and the local national report. We hope really honestly that it would help the policymakers to improve the ecosystem and support the young entrepreneurs. We are sure, of course, through research and the finding, putting things in front of the policymaker will help improve the system. Thank you very much for all of you attending and participant, and I wish all the success for this report and this activity to continue, inshallah. we hope next time we will release the national report in Arabic also, as intended target is, of course, the local ecosystem. And so in the future, this copy, the national copy, should be both in Arabic and in English. So it can really help the targeted group to interact with it easily and comfortably. Thank you very much again, and let's release or launch the document or the report. Dr. Arkasami, would you please?
Yes. Okay, we have come to an end. Okay, then.
Thank you.
Dr. Mustafa, please open the mic.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chancellor, for releasing the Oman GEM National Report and providing very important insights in how University of Nizwa has been contributing to the building of Oman's human capital. Dear audience, as I mentioned earlier, the Oman GEM National Report is an important entity that will provide all stakeholders of entrepreneurship in the country with the much needed and valuable information for the development of entrepreneurial activities in the country. We have with us Professor Norizan bin Kassim, Oman GEM National Research Team member, to present key findings of the Oman GEM National Report 2019-20. Ladies and gentlemen, Norizan M. Kassim is a professor and assistant dean for graduate studies and research at College of Economics, Management and Information Systems of the University of Nizwa. She received her PhD from Southern Cross University, Australia in 2002. Professor Norizan has widely published in many reputed international journals. In July 2020, a study by Dontu et al. 2020, using the Scopus database, identified one of her articles as the most cited Asia-Pacific Journal of Marketing and Logistics articles between 1993 and 2019. Professor Norizan, the virtual stage is yours. Please.
Okay, thank you everyone. Can you see the screen now, the presentation?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I make it bigger then, yeah. All right, okay. All right then, okay, good afternoon, good evening and good morning to all from across the globe. Thank you for attending this launch event of Oman GEM National Report 2019 and 2020. Thank you very much, Dr. Mustafa, for the brief introduction. Before I proceed with the slides of the key findings, I just want to actually inform you all. I'm actually indeed very grateful for the opportunity to participate in the GEM project and to be here to present the key findings of the project. This GEM National Report is the first compiled by the team of researchers from CEMIS and the Entrepreneurship Center of University of Nizwa. All right, so without further ado, I would like to present the following slide and discuss or explain to you, in other words, or describe the selected major findings from the report. For basically the first slide, I'm so sorry because it's very tiny, the print. I just want to show you, these are actually the participating economies in the 2019 GEM survey. They are actually 50 economies, all right, economies or countries, participating in GEM 2019. And these economies are grouped into 4 regions, as defined by the World Economic Forum, into three income levels. So as you can see in front of you here, the Middle East and African regions includes 11 economies ranging from low to high income. And then while East Asia, you can see here, East Asia and Pacific includes 8 economies, all right, ranging from low to high income also. And then the Latin American and Caribbean, you can see here, right, has 8 economies in GEM 2019. These economies equally split between middle and high income levels. And then the largest number of GEM participating economies in 2019 are from Europe and North America. There are 23 economies, just 3 of which are classed as middle income, with the rest has high income here. Just to recall back, just now Dr. Abdullah mentioned that there are 2 types of surveys, APS and NES. For this APS, there are only 50 economies, while for NES, they are actually, 54 economies, all right? So basically, these are the participating economies. All right, so this table basically show you the attitudes and perceptions, all right? This actually based on the percentage of adult population age 18 to 64 years old. And then if you can see from here, right, in 2019, the adult population in Oman held a moderate perception of individual entrepreneurial values here. So the results in table 2 show that 71.1% of working adults personally know someone who started a business in the last 2 years. In other words, personal affiliation with someone who has started a business is constantly high. I can say that in Oman and in the other Gulf countries here. But this is the first time, so we can assume that they are actually constantly high. In the Middle East, for example, Qatar, the United Arab Emirates, and Saudi Arabia. All right, and then if you notice also, right, in Oman, 72.3%, right, adults perceive good business opportunities, while 54.7% believe it is easy to start business, suggesting they actually may be lots of opportunity, but few hurdles, right, to overcome in pursuing them here, right? And more than half, you can see here, 56.3%, consider they have the skills, knowledge and experience to start a new business, but fear of failure, 40.8% here, right, may act as a constraint, given that I mentioned just now, 40.8% of those seeing good opportunities, all right, 72.3, agree that they would be deterred by fear of failure. All right, these indicators are more or less measuring how they perceive their environment. But if you look at the entrepreneurial intention here, right, 62.9%, right, Omani people, right, they actually have an intention to venture into these entrepreneurial activities here. And then Oman ranked #1 among the 50 economies globally, right? Right, and then now we're going to move on and describe to you the activity. So basically there are 2 slides, right? I just want to explain to you. The first one basically refer to the phases and types of entrepreneurial activity. All right, these slides reports on levels of entrepreneurial activity that differs in terms of their engagement in entrepreneurial activities. Accordingly, this slide includes the measures such as the proportions of adults who are actively engaged in starting or running new businesses in each economy. In economy, for example, the total early stage entrepreneurial activity, right? Because I'm referring each economy because basically I'm going to discuss with you from the global perspective. Right, and then the proportion of adults owning and managing an established business, and also the proportion of adults involved in entrepreneurial employees activities, right, as part of their role in existing organization here. Right, so you can see here 3.9% are nascent, 3.1% are new entrepreneurs, and then if you add nascent together with this new entrepreneur, it will give you 7.0% are actually involved in early stage entrepreneurial activities. We call it TEA. All right, so you can see here, right, only 7.0%, right, involved in the early stage entrepreneurial activity in 2019. And then the level of the total entrepreneurial activity can be considered low, right, when you compare with the 50 economies, right, or 50 countries. And then the estimated business activity, right, of the year is made up by 2% of the adult population reporting has owner managers of established business. So this is the one here, active in the market for more than 42 years here. Right, so if you can see the last one, basically a 15.4 discontinued business in the last 12 months, including transfer. So basically, this particular part here, right, the total exit and discontinuation of business is considered high among the 18 to 64 age population, but which later will be analyzed in depth because some of them, they switch, right? Not actually they exit from the market totally, but it's very minimal portion only actually exit, continue in the business. We're going to discuss about that later on, but here, right, and then this one is the table 3.2, the same thing, but this will be in total. Basically, it's the same, is from this phases or types of entrepreneurial activity here, right, in summary. And then you can see here, right, when we compare with other 50 economies, right, Oman basically ranked 42 out of 50 countries. And then for established business ownership, Oman ranked 47, and for the entrepreneurial employee activities, Oman ranked 34. These entrepreneurial employee activities, in other words, we call it entrepreneurs. And then if you see here, right, the proportion of female who participated in this total early stage entrepreneurial activity based on 2019 figure is 5.8%, while female is 8.1%, and then the established business ownership is very low here. Same thing with male, is 1.2 and 2.8 for male, and entrepreneur employee activity here, the entrepreneurs 0.8%, and male is 1.5% here. So we can see very here, right, the involvement here very low compared to other countries. Right? But again, I think we consider that Oman is moderate, right, in that sense. Yeah. All right. And then so we want to know about the motivation. What motivates them to become an entrepreneur or to pursue? So they are actually, GEMS came out with 4 indicators. One is to make a difference. Second is to build a great wealth. Third, continue family traditions. And finally, to earn a living here. All right. So if you can see here, right, in front here. So to make a difference, right, only 49.9% of the adult population. But I'm very impressed when I see the female contribution here is 65.9 here compared to the male, because really for female entrepreneurs, they really want to make a difference, right? And then if you look at Omani females, if you look at the build a great wealth, 53% of the adult populations, right? And then say that they want to make to build a great wealth, and again, majority actually female. All right, Omanis ladies, they want to build a great wealth, and then rank 26 out of 50 here, and then continue family tradition. In only 26.6% agree to it, because the others, and then you can see the rank 33. Equal signs indicates that the ranking position is tied with another economy or economies. And then if you look at the female, right, they are only 22.7, while male is 29.3 here. And then to earn a living here, all right, majority, almost 56.2, adult population, they agree to this statement. And then rank is 32, and female is 64.7, and for male is 50.4 here. All right, so this is something that find it a very interesting result here, right? And then I just want to elaborate further. You see here, when we talk about continue to tradition, 26.6% here is considered low, yeah, with other motive, with the proportion of entrepreneurs agreeing to this, right? All right, and then you can see that not much difference between male and female. Right, the next one is basically the innovation and use of latest technology here. So you can see here there are 4 columns, right? Nascent, total early activity, and then new, and then this is the established. So you can see here still not very much, right? When we refer to the innovation and use of latest technologies here. And then if you see here, right, the significant proportion of all activities, you can see from here, shows the existence of innovation usage, right, of very recent technologies. See, they use it, right, which are new to the people of the area where the business is located and new to the country. It's noticeable that qualified them has potentially prepared to face competitiveness. Right, while in the case of established business, right, it reaches an international dimension compared to the nascent, early stage entrepreneur and new owner managers. All right, if you look at here, right, they reach the international level, but the rest has yet to reach, inshallah, in the future to come. And a number of the economies, for example, participating in GEM actually devote resources to encouraging innovation, including Oman. Okay, because for example here, Oman, they have this Oman Technology Fund to support these entrepreneurs, right? And then Germany also, I have Digital Hub, and Morocco, Innovest, and the rest also have some fund to actually encourage the entrepreneur to make full use of the latest technology here. Right. In detail, you can find in the report. Okay, and then I just want to discuss with you or describe with you the industry sector participation here. So GEM, they came up with these 3 types of sector or industry. They call it extractive, all right, and transforming, business services, consumer oriented here. For extracting, basically referring to, for example, like mineral, you extract from the ground, right? And then when we talk about transforming, is including manufacturing and logistic, all right? And then when business services, including IT, ICT, and professional services, and finally consumer services, including this one, retailing, restaurant, and personal services. Here you can see the result. 51%, more than 51%, right, of the entrepreneur activity are more towards the consumer-oriented industry. Right, and then business services is only 10.72, while transforming is only 36.38. All right, and extractive is only 1.48 here. All right, like most other countries, right, Oman is concentrating on entrepreneur activity in the consumer-oriented services here. All right, and then additionally, the participation in the entrepreneur activity in medium or high technology sector is estimated for 2019 is only 0.5% only. All right, okay, right. The profile of Omani early stage entrepreneur, right, based on our data, is male, age around, average age is around 32.8 years old. Level of education is secondary degree, and annual income is between Omani Rial 1,921 to Omani Rial 2,400, and then they are living with 7 actually in a household, at least 7% in 7.4% in a household. All right, now I would like to discuss with you the entrepreneurial mindset here. All right, if you look at the entrepreneurial mindset here, vision, right? You notice the entrepreneurial mindset index of average score is 3.29, right? Points over 5 here, right? So they reveals that Omani population of 1864 demonstrate moderately positive entrepreneurial mindset. So the 4 basic components here, as you can see in front of you, is opportunism, proactivity, creativity, and vision here. All right. And then just to remind you again, entrepreneurial intention in Oman is the highest and ranked number 1 among the 50 economies. And then you can see predict here entrepreneurial success in the population. Of these 4 components, it appears that the most predominant is 71.5% within the Omani population, followed by creativity, 56.7%, and then opportunism is 38.5%, and proactivity is only 33.6%. So the results suggest that most people in Oman have been inspired to generate innovative business ideas or new products through novel experiences and originality. However, they do not possess the elements of opportunism and proactivity here. In other words, they do not possess the element how to transform these ideas into effective entrepreneurial activity here. But nonetheless, right, the 4 basic components of entrepreneurial mindset have a positive impact in the Omani population of entrepreneurship, which was identified as a reasonable, the early stage of the activities, entrepreneurial activity rate of 6.9 for Oman in 2019 here. Right, so now we're going to move on to the financial, how they finance their activity here. Right, so the act of starting a new business requires resources, including access to finance. And then many new sources, particularly in developed economies, characterize those starting new businesses as buildings, for example, smartphone application, using high technology in open plan offices, presenting pitches to venture capitalists in a world of high finance and initial public offering. But in practice, right, new businesses are more likely to be started with the entrepreneur's saving in reality, actually, or in practice, credit cards or overdraft, or with loans from family and friends. So informal investment is when an individual provides funds, right, for new business started by someone else, and is typically from family or friends and other acquaintances here. So you can see here, right, 14.4%, right, actually from the informal investor. So the proportion of adults in 2019 have both invested in someone else's new business at any time in the past 3 years, all right, and stated how much they provide here. So in Oman, if you read the report, the medium amount invested raised is 2 Omani Rial 2,000, 52.5% of informal investor. This in detail, okay, have been relative, while 26.5% close family member, and 13.2% from friends or neighbors, 8.9% work colleagues, and only 0.7% with strangers here. All right, so now we're going to look at the entrepreneurial impact here, right? The job creation.
Sorry, Professor Norizan, to interrupt you. I would request you if we can little move faster into the presentation.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, please. Thank you.
No worries. Okay, right.
You.
It's a very obvious, right? The job expectation, the impact. Now only 1.7% of the adult population, they agree that they can generate more than 6 jobs, right, in 5 years. And then the 0.5% agree that they can go international with 25% plus revenue. And then their 0.8 agree that more towards national scope, customers and product and process here. And global scope is, we don't, at the moment now, 2019, we are Oman is among the 6 countries in the 50 economies that participated, right, in this research. They don't have any global scope. And then 10.7% actually in the business service sector here. Right, so this is the entrepreneurship, national entrepreneurship context index. So you can see here Oman is just only immediately just below the GEM ratio here, index. Right, so these are the expert rating of the entrepreneur framework condition here. So there are 5 pillars. So this one, Dr. Abdullah mentioned about the 36 experts, right? We asked them for their opinions, feedback regarding the 12 pillars. And then from 0 rating to 12, the insufficient to sufficient. So if you notice that here, right, 19, if you want to know in detail, you can read from the report because I have to speed up here, right? So, all right then, right? Thank you for listening. Dr. Mustafa?
Yeah, thank you very much, Prof, for your very informative and very exhaustive presentation and to highlight the key findings of the Oman GEM National Report. I'm sorry I interrupted you in between because we were short of time. So it's thank you very much for so exhaustive presentation, and I really believe that the attendees today, they have benefited from this presentation as well. And as the team leader of this research team has already announced in the chat box that if anybody want to have the data, they can approach to the Entrepreneurship Center here in the University of Nizwa to have any further data and information related to the report. Thank you very much again. We have questions coming on in the chat box. Please, at attendance, I need to inform you that we will take up these questions during the panel discussion, which is going to start shortly. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now moving to a very important session to present a panel discussion on Oman entrepreneurial research outcomes. For the panel discussion, we have with us Engineer Ibrahim Al Husni, Oman Chamber of Commerce and Industries, to chair and moderate the session. To participate in the panel discussion, we have with us Professor Aileen Somers, Executive Director of GEM Consortium, Professor Alicia Kodos, National Expert Survey Coordinator for GEM, Dr. Abdullah AlShukaili, Executive Director, Entrepreneurship Center at University of Nizwa, Professor Norizan Kassim, Assistant Dean for Graduate Studies and Research at the College of Economics Management and Information System in the University of Nizwa. I already have introduced to you Dr. Abdullah, Professor Aileen, as well as Professor Norizan. Let me now introduce 2 members of the panel discussion, Engineer Ibrahim as well as Professor Alicia. Ladies and gentlemen, Engineer Ibrahim Al Husni is the Chairman of SMEs Committee in the Oman Chamber of Commerce and Industries and Managing Director, Aries Global Company LLC, a company providing drilling and equipment services to the oil and gas sector. Previously, he has been Asset Integrity Manager at Dalil Petroleum LLC, CSR Senior Inspection Coordinator, Maintenance Static Inspector, and Mechanical Rotating Engineer at Petroleum Development Oman. Engineer Ibrahim is by training a mechanical engineer and has served the oil and gas sector of Oman over the last 22 years. He has his BSc in Operations and Maintenance from University of Glasgow, UK, and higher diploma in mechanical engineering from the Higher Technical College. Engineer Ibrahim is the recipient of many awards such as Dalil Petroleum 2014 Golden Reward in Jazz as Best Staff, PDO 2011 Director Award for Excellence in Contract Management, PDO 2010 Chairman and Director Award for Excellence for Pipeline Integrity Improvement in the South, PDO Excellence Award Survey and Integrity Improvements of Firefighting System in PDO South of Oman 2014. He is also a Certified Industrial Innovation Specialist from IIC and Certified HSE Coach. Professor Alicia Kodura is a National Expert Survey Coordinator for GEM. She is also a member of the GEM Saudi Arabia National Team. She has more than 20 years of experience in social research, managing projects in the sectors of mobility and transport, health and tourism, among others. Her work has involved the evaluation of public policies and services, studying the living conditions of the general population and of different groups, immigrants, women, young people. Professor Alicia earned a BSc in Economics and Business from the University of Barcelona and a PhD in Politics and Public Administration Sciences from the University Pompeu Fabra. Now let me invite Engineer Ibrahim Al-Husni and other panelists to start the session. The stage is yours.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mustafa. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and honored guests. We are very glad for launching the first Oman GEM National Report for the year of 2019-2020, and take these opportunities to welcome you all to this panel discussion to discuss the Oman GEM research outcome. I would like to express my warm welcome to the speakers, especially those who are joining us from the overseas and as well as from Oman National GEM team. Also, I would like to thank University of Nizwa for the supporting and organizing this event. And special thanks to the Chancellor, Professor Ahmed Al-Rawahi, and also Her Excellence Engineer Halima. Please allow me to introduce our speakers again. I would like to welcome on board Professor Aline UNESCO Summers, the GEM Executive Directors, Professor Alicia, the expert at the GEM Consortium, Dr. Abdullah AlShukaili, the Oman GEM Team Leader, and also I would like to welcome on board Oman National Team. I will start the first question with the Dr. Abdullah AlShukaili. Dr. Abdullah, as we know, the education in the field of entrepreneurship to assist the economic development of any country is important activities for higher education institution across the world. And as we know, the implementation of Oman Vision 2040 is already started, which is planned to support innovation, entrepreneurship activities in the country, as it is one of the key success factors for economic diversification. Dr. Abdullah, what are the add values, benefits from joining the GEM that will support Oman Vision 2040 and that will enhance Oman economy toward the entrepreneurship and innovation?
Okay, Doctor, thank you, Engineer Ibrahim, and thank you so much also for joining with us in this panel discussions. Exactly, Oman's economic transition is reliant upon active innovation and entrepreneurship. This transition in economic has required the Omani government to create policies and programs to identify and promote the entrepreneurial talent among its youth to actively participate in the country's economic development through their involvement in SMEs, and also for Oman, why it is important to join this GEM national team. Why it is important to join this GEM, because this national report is going to provide some identification and promotion of some of the main effective entrepreneurial, which can be used by the policies makers in order to see how they can make this roadmap for the entrepreneurial activities in the future for Oman. I think also the second thing, this project will provide a deep understanding of the entrepreneurial activities through shared experience in other entrepreneurial studies and also with other global economies, so we can see about the position of entrepreneurial activities in Oman in comparison to some global indicator. Maybe also this project is going to help to identify problems. They can also offer some solution. They can providing data. They can also promoting research. Our master students and PhD students, they can use this data in order to conduct many research, many studies, which can also help the policy makers. I think also they can be like an action research. They can be based on these findings and these studies of those master and PhD students. As well, we can also promote the research of Oman in entrepreneurship, and we will have like a well-published papers in ranked journals. Exactly as you mentioned now, engineer, that supporting entrepreneurship and innovation are the key to Oman's future. So I am sure that this project will help in giving the roadmap picture for the policymakers, for the academic, for the entrepreneurial ecosystems, and they can also help to understand this sector in deeply figures and information. Thank you, engineer.
Thank you. This is really good. I mean, I'm sure that it will add a big value and benefits for Oman Vision 2040. Okay, Dr. Abdullah, we would like also to know what is the next step of this project, and what is your plan to cooperate with the entrepreneurial ecosystem players in Oman?
Okay, thank you, engineer. This is a good question, because exactly we are planning now to invite and involve all of the entrepreneurial ecosystem in Oman in order to contribute, participate, and also in order to support this project financially. Because this project, if it would like to sustainability of this project, exactly we need, and we are request for all of the entrepreneurial ecosystem in order to support this project. Also, we are welcoming for any collaboration in research, in studies, in consultancy, in any engagement, and also we would like to encourage the knowledge transfer, and also we need to help our students in order to transfer their project to commercialize these business ideas. So I am request in this, I will take this opportunity today in order to announce that we are welcoming all of the entrepreneurial ecosystems to collaborate with us in order to sustainability of this project for a long time.
Thank you, Dr. Abdullah, and I think really it's required, a support for this project, which is really add a big value for the country and for the entrepreneurship in terms of the research and the development. Okay, let me direct also these questions to Professor Aline, the GEM Executive Directors. Professor Aline, there are a lot of constraining factors to the growth and development of the SME in developing countries. Policymakers are one of the interest groups who are interested in the GEM finding. Professor Alina, as a GEM Executive Director, could you please highlight the role of the GEM in studying the factors related to the research development, knowledge transfer, market regulations, government policy, and the commercial infrastructures, and how can GEM support policy makers to overcome these barriers?
Thank you very much. This is a very interesting question. Let me start by saying that any decision to start and run a new venture will be taken in a specific context, and this encompasses a wide range of local and national conditions that either will facilitate or hinder that venture. So each national context is different, and while entrepreneurial activity can persist in very difficult circumstances, it can also fail to flourish even in the most favourable conditions. And this is what GEM, through its research, tries to understand better. This is based on the fact that there is likely to be a positive relationship between the quality of entrepreneurship-specific conditions and the frequency and nature of the entrepreneurial activity. So as Professor Norizan Kassim pointed out at the end of her presentation, GEM assesses the environment for enterprise by defining a number of specific entrepreneurship framework conditions. And you have actually cited 5 of those. The first is, government policies, support and relevance. And we assess, we actually interviewed 36 experts in every country that are really carefully selected according to their knowledge and expertise. And these experts answer common questions about how they rate the sufficiency or otherwise of the framework conditions. And the 5 conditions that you pointed out are ones that we assess: government policies, support and relevance, government policies, taxes and bureaucracy, research and development transfer, physical infrastructure, and the internal market burdens or entry regulation. And the kinds of questions that we ask, for example, are: do government policies promote entrepreneurship and support those starting a new business venture? Are business taxes and fees affordable for the new enterprise? Are rules and regulations easy to manage, or an undue burden on the new business? Where research and development is concerned, to what extent can research findings, including from universities and research centres, be translated also into commercial ventures? For questions around infrastructure, does access to affordable professional services, such as lawyers and accountants, support the new venture within a framework of property rights? As regards market burdens and regulations, do regulations actually facilitate rather than restrict entry? And as regards physical infrastructure, to what extent is physical infrastructure, such as roads, internet access and speed, the cost and availability of physical spaces and such, to what extent are they adequate and accessible to entrepreneurs? But apart from those 5 conditions that you cited in your question, we have several more. It allows us to produce spider graphs, like the spider graph at the end of Professor Kassim's presentation, for every single country. So that means for 50 countries, more than 50 countries. And it also allows us to produce what's called GEM's National Entrepreneurship, the National Entrepreneurship Conditions Index, called the NESI Index, which is a composite index which allows countries to be ranked against those different conditions. And the reason, and just to reply to the very last part of your question, how can GEM support policymakers to overcome the barriers, is that I think what we have in the NESI index is a very interesting ranking, which allows governments to look at best practices also in other countries and to see how they are actually doing as regards the setting the ideal framework conditions for their country. It really is a great opportunity for governments and policymakers. Thank you for your question.
Thank you very much, Professor Aline. I'm fully agree with you that we need to utilize this kind of best practice with the other countries and also support the government policy to overcome all of these breaks. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now I will move to Professor Alicia. Professor Alicia, during this difficult time of the COVID-19 pandemic and its adverse economic and the social impact on the performance and the growth of SME, how do you think GEM research will help to identify and analyze this situation and to understand this effect? And also, what are the general implications for the policymakers from the outcome of this research using the GEM data? Can you please brief?
And Hello and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for your invitation to participate in this event. And I am going to comment that 2020 data are exceptional and have no precedent. GEM is going to identify and analyze the effect of the pandemic from several perspectives. Thus, we are going to estimate the type of impact and magnitude of the crisis on the entrepreneurial activity. Many questions are going to arise and will be answered through papers because of the limited space of national reports. Questions about the relationships within GEM variables and economic and sanitary indicators worldwide. Questions about necessity and opportunity. Are we going to see an increase of necessity entrepreneurship? Or on the contrary, our opportunities are going to arise and the composition of entrepreneurship is going to change? We don't know, and we are collecting data to answer these questions. What about the sectorial distribution? For example, in your country, Norizan has shown us quite well a good percentage of entrepreneurship focused on the transforming sector. But you know that in several developed countries, this decreased so much across the years that now they are too dependent on the consumer-oriented sector. And this made many countries less resistant to this different crisis, because it's a sanitary crisis, than other countries that have more industry. So many governments have lots of questions that are related also with this part, with this side of the sectorial distribution. Okay, so for some of them, maybe it's going to be recommendable increasing industry, and some of them are going to ask if it's good or not protecting their own production and changing the strategies on internationalization. Many of them are going to look at the job creation, and it is going to be very, very relevant, making recommendations to potential entrepreneurs on where to focus their initiatives, because it's possible that the current distribution is too focused on consumer-oriented, and maybe the primary and secondary sectors need more attention. Additionally, we are going to analyze the impact of the pandemic on the context for entrepreneurs, of course, because there are a lot of questions. There is going to be a lot of room to analyze the changes in the evaluation of framework conditions, and to study differences among countries about their expert opinions on, for example, government reactions to face the pandemic. Okay, so we recommend a lot for this part to use the qualitative comparative analysis, the QCA, because it's very adequate to carry out benchmark among countries. Okay, so we are going to provide variables that no other source of information has collected on the effects of the pandemic on the entrepreneurial context and its activity. A lot of room for academic researchers to write new papers, new articles that are going to answer a lot of these questions. Finally, what are the implications, the general implications for policymakers? There are many diverse, because in part of what I said before, GEM data are going to describe a new type of crisis with no precedents, and policymakers need information and answers to design strategies for recovery. They need to evaluate the changes of the entrepreneurial ecosystem. Who are the survivors? Where are the survivors and why? What made them resistant? What has been lost? What can be recovered? Does the country need structural changes? Is it necessary to push industrialization? What sectoral distribution resisted better, etc.? Benchmarking is going to be critical this time because we all know that different countries in different regions of the world have faced differently this sanitary crisis. So I think that there are a lot of lessons to learn, and GEM can show the picture so researchers can focus and highlight what have been the best practices in the world. So this is these are my answers to these two questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Alicia. And it's really important that the strategy and the policy makers, it's really interesting to move more in details about this study and the GEM support in terms of the research and development. Okay, so let me direct this question to Professor Norizan, the Oman GEM Technical Report Coordinators. This project provides a deep understanding of entrepreneurial activities in Oman through the shared experience in entrepreneurship study with other countries. Also, supporting entrepreneurship and innovation are the keys to Oman future, and it will enhance and stimulate the country economy growth and assist in maintaining its future economy stability. Professor Norizan, in your opinion, what are the main areas that policy makers need to consider in future based on the Oman GEM National Report findings?
Okay, thank you, Engineer Ibrahim. Actually, based on my opinion, basically, there are other things that we need to consider, but this one I will base on this the framework, right? The entrepreneurship education at the school stage remains as the worst evaluated condition because it's only 3.47 out of 10 scale, right? So this is the pending issue. And then in Oman, you notice still there is no special curriculum for students at school, which will assist them to understand the concept of entrepreneurship. And then by right, if we give them seminars and workshop, this can offer informal education, yeah, while the schools offer entrepreneurship course to nurture the entrepreneurial spirit and also give students the skills to start a successful venture, right? And then entrepreneurship spirit arises at the early age of life, can be highly encouraged by the educational system, which can guide the students and help innovation spread. All right. So I think for a start, they need to consider this to actually embed it, to cultivate this culture of entrepreneurship at the early stage, at the school stage. All right. And then the second one, remember when I mentioned about the entrepreneurial mindset, because Omani, right, they are lacking of this opportunism and proactivity. All right. So they have very strong creativity and also vision. It's just that they are not able to transform their ideas, right, or to commercialize their ideas. So I think the policymaker need to actually provide adequate training, consistently adequate training that are very effective in that sense, yeah. And then it's very important for them And then the next is to encourage more female to participate this in entrepreneurial activity. All right, so I think this is also very important, yeah, because they can also help to generate some the economic growth of Oman in that sense, right? Because these women, I think, if you look at this, they are people who are actually to make a difference. You notice 50 majority of them, they like to make a difference. I think if you look at the GEM Global Report, it's the same across the globe. All right, so females, they are actually agree to this to make a difference, not just to earn a living, they want to make a difference. So they are very entrepreneur, they have this entrepreneur mindset. I think that's about all for me, yeah, from me, right? So maybe later on I can discuss later with Dr. Abdullah, and then we can provide some feedback from our report to the policymaker, recommendation to the policymaker in writing.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Professor Norizan. Now we will. There is a lot of questions being asked by the audience, but we cannot take all of them. But what we can do, we can take all this question and reply to them later on. But now I will ask some question. I will take some question. This first question, it will go from the audience to Dr. Abdullah. There is one question. It say, in your study, what are the biggest challenge for entrepreneurship in Oman?
Okay, Dr. Engineer. For this question, I think one of those is for the policy, okay, and the regulation in Oman. They need to be much improved to be in the line with the entrepreneurial activities. The second one, we can talk about the financial support. Exactly, we need a creative financial support, which is supporting the venture capital, like the angel investment, like the venture capital. The third one, we need to support exactly the entrepreneurial education. Alhamdulillah, now we have all of Omanis, and because of this, we have a good entrepreneurial intention. We have the culture of entrepreneurship, but now the next stage will be how we can move these entrepreneurial activities, how we can do the transfer of knowledge. And I think also for the main things is about the research, development, and innovation, because innovation and creativities are still one of the critical things that they need to be improved by the policy makers and all of the entrepreneurial activities in Oman. Thank you, Engineer.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Abdullah. There is another question. Did those study provide any solution to the challenges and the difficulties faced by entrepreneurship?
I think these studies, yes, is going to provide, because see, this study, it is not only just for entrepreneurs. Our sample size is not only just from entrepreneurs. It is from the entire population, or adult population in Oman, from the age of 18 to 64. And as you know, the GEM, they treat the entrepreneurship, or they define the entrepreneurship as a process, starting from having the idea to the nascent to the what we call to the established, and we have different stages. So yes, if we are going to conduct a lot of research based on these variables, maybe the national report will not be enough to have a clear picture, because this is only just picking the main indicators, but we need exactly some researcher who can use these data and figures in order to do more research and in order to conduct a lot of studies based on these studies.
Thank you, thank you. Maybe we can take the last question because we are running out of time. So maybe Professor Norizan, the final question, that's what are the necessary procedure that entrepreneurship can take in those with the COVID-19 issues. So what is the procedure? How can it help them to come out of these issues?
Okay, right. I think there are so many ways that they can do, I think, yeah. Basically what they can do is that now they have to change the way they are doing business. Okay, right. I think now many entrepreneurs, when I mentioned about the consumer-oriented, like restaurants, right, like retail shops, right. So what they are doing now, they move on to this online way of doing their business here, right. So they must, like I said, they have to think like enterprise people, you know. So they have to find ways, right. They move. So this is what they can do. They can start doing online, right, and then try to identify. When Dr. Abdullah mentioned that about this the solution, right, from the gap. This what we are doing actually. Basically, we are identifying the gap. So,
Yeah.
and then we are trying to make the gap closer, not 100%, but we're trying our best to make it closer. And then for this, not easy, yeah. So you have to change the way you are doing business, right? If you want to stick to the old fashion of doing business, I think you are not doing good. All right. So this is my opinion. Thank you.
I'm fully agree. That's to be switched off from the traditional way to the modern way, and to use the technology, you know, for changing the business to the successful business. I think there is a lot of question, but I think we can stop here. I'm very sorry for other people who's asking the question, but our team in the university, they will collect all these questions and they will try to reply to you guys. Thank you very much, and sorry I take a few minutes extra, but I hope it will be interesting. Thank you very much, guys.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Engineer Ibrahim Al Husni, Professor Eileen, Professor Lisha, Dr. Abdullah, Professor Norizan, for a lively discussion on entrepreneurial research outcomes and responding to the audience questions. Though we apologize really to the audience that we were not able to take up all the questions, and there were a lot of questions which need a response from the team here. But we assure you that we will collect all these questions, and possibly we will reply to those questions at a later stage by possibly an email to all the respondents. Thank you very much, the team, for this wonderful discussion. Now let me again hand over the stage to Ms. Fatima to continue the proceedings of the event. Ms. Fatima, over to you, please.
Thank you, Dr. Mustafa. So let me now invite Dr. Swadhin Mondal, a Oman GEM researcher team member, for a presentation on diagnosing COVID-19 impacts on entrepreneurship, exploring policy readiness for recovery. Dear audience, Dr. Swadhin Mondal is the assistant professor in the Department of Economics at University of Nizwa. Dr. Mondal, please go ahead with your presentation, and due to the shortage of time, please, you have only 10 minutes. Thank you.
Oh. Thank you very much. Thank you, Fatima, for introducing me. Honorable Chancellor of University of Nizwa, His Excellency Ms. Halima, Engineering Ibrahim, respected Dean, Professor Eileen, Alicia, and our national team member. Respected participant, today I am going to present another report, another national report. That report is on the diagnosing the COVID-19 impact on entrepreneurship in Oman, exploring policy remedies for recovery. In the early stage of COVID pandemic, the global GEM consortium, they conducted a research on basically to understand the impact of this pandemic on entrepreneurship, on the global economy, as well as the entrepreneurship activities, and trying to exploring the policy remedies for this recovery. Around 54 countries participated in this research. For all this national team, they produce a report on that on their immediate impact of this pandemic on their own economy, and then they highlighted the immediate policy measures and how the government is taking the policy intervention for recovery. Oman is one of the participating countries. Today I am going to present the immediate impact. I will try to highlight some positive impact, some negative impact on Oman economy, and then I try to give some policies for recoveries. So first, tangible impact on this pandemic on Oman economy was hard knock on the
Mondal,
yes.
so, can you please run the slideshow? Sorry, please. Sorry to interrupt. Can you run the slideshow to make the full size screen size,
Okay,
please?
okay, thank you so much. Okay, sorry. Okay. So the first tangible effect of the pandemic of the Oman economy was the hard knock impact on the some business sector. For example, the airlines industry, hotel tourism industry, transportation industry. These are the industries are highly impacted because of this pandemics. So the Oman is also experienced a huge negative impact on the major sector. For example, that include the increase the business close, supply and logistic disruption, then inability to pay the operation cost for the business, and some of the business, the lack of many SMEs, they have no capacity to immediately shift to the e-commerce business. That sort of problems they are facing. The many companies, specifically very expensive real estate companies, they are now re-examining their liabilities and they are rethinking whether they are going to use their office space or not. Because most of these employees now they are working from the home. So so these are the immediate impact. If they are not using their office space, the employee has working from the work from home, that has the another impact. One way, the real estate company, that many companies, they have their immediate economic impact, as well as also the many companies, they are concerned about the psychological effect of the people, those who are working from home. They are in the isolated world, anxiety, there are many domestic violence, lot of problems is arise. Also, even like other countries, Oman is also many Oman entrepreneur children, they are suffering more. So Oman entrepreneur compared to the male entrepreneur, they are facing the bigger problem, because Oman female entrepreneur, but they have to cut up their office time, their entrepreneur activities, and then they have to help to their children for the online education. So these are the things happening. Also with regard to the entrepreneurial activities, Oman also facing that there is a reduction or termination of the government services or private services, reduce the employees' salaries, then also disruption of the supply chain, closing the market. These are the also there is a travel restriction. These are the problem is facing in Oman Oman entrepreneurship ecosystem. At the same time, also some sector getting some advantage. For example, quickly, because of shortage of time, I'm just focusing somewhere. For example, pharmaceutical industry and food industry, they are the real threat. They are surviving. Health industry, they are basically going immediately shift for the teleconsultation services. So somehow this industry getting benefit. The education industry, university colleges immediately shifted for the online education. E-administration, government or private office, they are going for the work from home. So somehow this industry they are managing, they are getting benefit. There is some important thing, some group of Oman innovator, they are producing the protective equipment. That equipment is now using the frontline worker. So number of that one thing is that one is a very important thing in Oman that after pandemic started in last December, January, but up to April 2020, the number of registration for SMEs is increased around 12.5% compared to the previous year. That is the one thing in this. Despite this pandemic, the one positive thing is number of Oman is there registered for the new business. The some of the Oman entrepreneur have advantage in the lockdown. There is just a case studies. This business in the early stage of the pandemic. So many companies they are suffering. They stop their business because of the nationwide lockdown. So after 1 month, the customers these companies also, they have the lot of financial commitment. After 1 month, many customers, they started calling. By then, this company immediately shift for the e-commerce, for the online business, by using the WhatsApp, Facebook, the online platform using, and they are starting, and they are quite successful. So some of the positive things in happening, and some company really getting benefited. They are taking this pandemic as an opportunity. Now the Oman policy intervention, the government, Sultanate of Oman, they are also immediately they are responding. For example, Central Bank of Oman, they are providing the low interest and low cost credit to the SMEs. Riyadh, for example, they provide the non-financial support. Also, under Riyadh Al Fund, they are providing the financial supports to stimulate the SMEs activities. Al Fund, they are reduce the deferred installment return by 50% of the total due amount for the period of the 6 months, postponing the loan installment. So Riyadh, with the collaboration with the Ministry of Commerce, they are also introduced the online shopping platform. The Central Bank of Oman, they injected around 20.7 billion liquid cash to stimulate the economy. The government also announced the various corporate tax relief package. These are the things doing. Now, according to International Monetary Fund, in regards to the future economic policy in Oman, the Oman GDP growth rate will be the 2.8% in 2020 due to this pandemic. But again, there is a possibility to recover the economy. The IMF also they predicted that maybe in 2021 Oman economy can recover their growth up to 3%. It's depend on the post-pandemic global economic recovery. So also His Majesty Sultan Hatem also formed a new committee. It's called the Supreme Committee. That committee also regularly monitoring the situation, and they are taking the necessary step to overcome this situation. Okay, now the things is that for this pandemic, we need to recover the economy. We need to recover the sustainability of the economic growth, sustainability of the growth of the SMEs. Now, is it only the government responsibility alone? This is I'm asking the questions. So, for example, I am a captain of a ship. Ship is sinking sinking. As a captain, I can give you the jacket, life jacket, but you have to swim, or you have to learn how to swim. So this is the same way the government will provide you the support, but entrepreneurs also have to find out their own way for their survival, for their own growth. So, for example, this situation of the remote working, digitalization situation is this last few months during this pandemic, most of the companies, SMEs, most of the companies, they are shifted for the remote working, and then try to adopt the digitalization things. And that digitalization and remote working may be the permanent future. Yeah, our life, it would be maybe our permanent future. So in this situation, there's a lot of other questions, arise a lot of other challenges. For example, that when the people are working from the home, what about their psychological effect? How their psychological crisis, health crisis, how it will be solved? So this is a lot of challenges. For example, if the real estate company, how do they, if they are not using the office space, how they will manage their workforce? So, for example, the student, the young generation, they are compromising their education. They are not getting the good quality of the education. That maybe they have to compromise their future. How this new system, how it will compensate their education. So these are the new challenge. And also for example, the elderly people, old people, they are living in the isolated world. So how they survive? These are the new challenge. So in this pandemic situation, there is a many challenges. All these challenges is the opportunity for the entrepreneurship. The entrepreneurship, all these multi-level problems that can be resolved by the stakeholder working them together. or all the entrepreneurship, that challenge entrepreneurship has to take as an opportunity. Another thing is that the trend of the employee replacement by the technology that has also accelerated and ensured the employees' own survival. For example, in this crisis period, many companies maybe they will replace their employee by technology, and once it's happened, maybe it will not go back. So in this situation, the things is that the employment in SMEs has need to adopt the new situation. They need to develop their digital and technological skill. They need to learn the data, information, critical thinking, creativity, innovation, and openness, and solution that will all skill will be needed in the post-COVID world. So SMEs, particularly the local SMEs, maybe they will get more advantage as compared to the corporate business, because the local SMEs, they understand their problems and they can solve the problem at the local level. So SMEs, these are the opportunities for the SMEs, and they have to bring their own, they have to adapt the new situation, they have to innovate, they have to bring their own solution. Okay, so in global researcher, global team, the GEM team actually lead the policymaker few principle. It's called the CRIPS principle. CRIPS means here that then the policymaker has to give a clear, concise, and they need a clear and concise communication, cooperation with the entrepreneurship, academics, business, and others. The clear, concise collaboration and communication means the policymaker have to communicate with the maximum entrepreneur, so that they will get some advantage. So that will help to the entrepreneurs. Next is the responsibility, resilience. The entrepreneurs, they have to take their own responsibility. For example, the new situation, the school, college, all this academic institution is closed. So when when it is open, the entrepreneurs, they have to, the school or our college, university admission, they have to take the responsibility. They have to provide all kind of support. Similarly, the SMEs, they have to take a responsibility of the customer's need. At the same time, whatever the situation they have to adapt. They have to increase their resilience. So next one is the innovation. In every stage, our GEM researcher, entrepreneurs has to innovate and celebrate the innovate. So as I said, that there's a lot of new challenge, lot of new problems at the local level, at the global level. So entrepreneurs have to solve the problem through innovation. Once you solve this problem, resolve this problem, they celebrate their own innovation, and then another issue they have to take as its opportunity. So in such a way, SMEs, they have to innovate, and then next one is the simplify the policies. Also, the policymaker, when they implement the policy should be very simple policy. That means many entrepreneurs, maybe that informal entrepreneurs, new entrant, they will bring some solution at the local level. They have to, the policy should be very simple, so that the new entrant, they can enter into the market. So next one is the preparation. Preparation means the policymaker, stakeholders, all the time, they have to spend time for preparing the policy for the new challenge. For example, now the coronavirus, the first wave is somehow managing all the countries. Maybe many countries now are facing the second wave. So new crisis is maybe coming up. So for this new crisis, the policymaker, they have to prepare. They have to prepare the new plan. So the CRIPS, that's principle, the global researcher, they are throwing for the policymaker. Then the GEM contribution, the GEM will continue to monitor the rates of the early stage entrepreneurs across the nation, as well as the intention of the entrepreneurs to start the business. And reason, they are also, the GEM researcher also try to find out why the entrepreneurs exit their venture, exit from the business. So this is the very crucial information. That information will help to the policymaker for forming the better policy. But at the same time, government policymakers should focus on the entrepreneur framework conditions, ecosystems by creating the stable and supporting the framework that is conducing to the entrepreneurship. So the policymaker need to create a cohesive, holistic, and conducive framework for healthy development of SMEs. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Swadhin Mondal, for your valuable presentation. Dear audience, we are now moving to our last session of the event. It is the workshop on entrepreneurship, research, and how to use GEM data, to be presented by Prof. Alicia from GEM Consortium. I invite Professor Alicia to take over the session.
Thank you very much. I will try to be brief. Okay, so as you have seen, research is going to be very important the next years. I would like to stress that it was very important to participate this year in GEM because now it's going to be critical to compare 2020 data with 2019, with the previous year. And some countries, due to the pandemic, missed this opportunity, missed this chance. But it is possible that for 2021 we face a very different situation, and governments have to change a lot of strategies, and even the structural composition of the sectors. Maybe we are facing a different diversification. So it is going to be very important to compare this year with the previous and with the next. Okay, said this, you know that GEM started to operate openly in 1999, choosing academic institutions as main partners instead of other types of institutions. Why? The reason is that one of the objectives was to create research teams on entrepreneurship worldwide. Currently, more than 300 researchers cooperate within GEM. So beyond the national reports, this network writes academic papers and doctoral dissertations, expanding the knowledge on entrepreneurship. So GEM is a good go-to partner if you are looking for an impact on your research on entrepreneurship, because different elements, its unique approach, its impact in forming policy, its own tools, which are very flexible, its reputation, network, and the support it gives to researchers. So our approach is unique because our informational tools provide data on individuals, which are the actors involved in the entrepreneurial process. So no other source provides this type of detailed picture about entrepreneurship. We help policymakers not only through the regular reports, but also developing research on a special topics, as it has been said. And considering every year the hottest topics, work to incorporate questions about them in our tools. So we do continuous surveillance on what is new, on what can be incorporated to our tools. And since they are flexible and adaptable, it's relatively easy to insert new questions, and since our network is so wide, we can extract from it experts to organize the new investigations around new topics. This year, of course, we faced the pandemic, and we reacted in record time to insert the COVID questions in our tools. But what is very important for novel researchers who are not familiar with GEM is the idea that this conceptual background provides the broad framework for identifying ideas for research in terms of variables. So if we take the different sections of this model, we can see in first place that GEM offers a wide set of indicators on entrepreneurial framework conditions, those that describe the average state of the context for entrepreneurs. The information, as it has been said, is collected thanks to an expert survey. So with these variables, there are many analyses that can be performed, from benchmarking among countries, longitudinal analysis, relationships between context variables themselves, or between these variables and other GEM and non-GEM indicators. Of course, we have an open section which is susceptible to contextual analysis of the contents. And especially, we recommend exploring the applications using qualitative comparative analysis, which is not still to enough extended. And these variables are very, very applicable for this methodology. Another sets are provided by the adult population survey. For example, on societal values, about entrepreneurship, and individual attributes. Traditionally, these variables are widely used as explanatory of the level of entrepreneurial activity. And they are also used to analyze the relationship with socio-demographic variables, geographical comparisons, relationships among them, and with GEM and non-GEM indicators. Of course, they provide also characterization of entrepreneurs, intrapreneurs at different stages, longitudinal analysis, and many more. Another set of data is related with entrepreneurial activity, a very extensive section where we can design research on entrepreneurial intentions, activity at different stages, business discontinuation, and a lot of business features, motivation, etc. These variables are usually treated as dependent in many models, and there are lots of topics to study, from determinants of entrepreneurial activity to motivation, geographical comparisons, relationship with other GEM and non-GEM variables, and so on. This is one of the most exploited set of variables. Well, as I said, the pandemic is an opportunity to expand our research. And I would like to add here that looking into entrepreneurship is going to be very important, because due to the pandemic, new opportunities are arising, and many businesses and companies must face changes, structural changes, new lines of production, etc. So entrepreneurs are going to be very interesting in the coming years. Finally, GEM has contributed with hundreds of academic papers to extend the knowledge on entrepreneurship. Most of them are posted at its website. And here, quickly, I am showing to you some examples on different topics. Okay. Here you can see one drawing insights from institutional theory and analyzing the synergetic effects of a range of entrepreneurial framework conditions. This is an example of how to use the NES variables. This second example is mixing GEM adult population survey variables with external indicators to examine the role of context in entrepreneurship. As you can see, there are lots of questions. Researchers show a lot of creativeness and imagination to use the GEM variables. This is another example, an academic paper comparing urban with rural entrepreneurial activity, which can be very interesting for Oman the next years, because this has been your first year, but once you get veteran, you are going to you will want to explore different geographical territories within the country and what are the differences between urban and rural areas. Okay, and another paper focused on high technology entrepreneurial activity. All of these papers are very recent, and concretely these authors explore the determinants of high tech entrepreneurship in Europe. A very interesting and recommendable paper. Other examples, as you can see, I could list hundreds of them, are related to socio-demographic variables, and well, these are some of the scarce papers that use qualitative comparative analysis. As you know that I insisted a lot about this applying learning and applying this methodology, because can answer lots of questions using a very original and simple methodology. So you can go here to our website, where you will find hundreds of papers organized by topics, by year, and by countries, etc. So this is one section. We are very proud of it because it has been growing and growing since GEM began 21 years ago. And we are very grateful to all the researchers of our community for extending the knowledge on entrepreneurship worldwide. Hoping this is going to be useful for you. Thank you very much, and salam.
Thank you, Prof. Alicia Kodoras, for your very excellent presentation and interesting speech on highlighting on how to use GEM data. Let me now return the stage to Dr. Mustafa to continue. Dr. Mustafa.
Thank you, Ms. Fatima. Ladies and gentlemen, we are at the end of this wonderful webinar on Oman Global Entrepreneurship Monitor National Report launch event. Today, this webinar brought various stakeholders at entrepreneurship, the experts, academicians, industry people, and researchers on a single platform to share their expertise and knowledge. I hope this webinar has enabled our audiences and participants to enhance their knowledge on entrepreneurship and entrepreneurial ecosystems, particularly in the context of Oman. Dear participants, let me now invite Dr. Arakia Sami, the Dean of College of Economics, Management and Information Systems at the University of Nizwa, to provide concluding remarks and a formal vote of thanks to the participants and attendees of today's program. Dr. Arakia Sami, I welcome you on the stage, please.
Thank you, Dr. Mustafa. Very good afternoon to all of you. I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to all of you for joining us to this launch event of Oman Global Entrepreneurship Monitor National Report 2019-20. The College of Economics, Management and Information Systems, University of Nizwa, along with Oman GEM National Research Team, takes immense pleasure in organizing this prestigious and remarkable event. During this occasion, I would like to congratulate the Oman GEM National Research Team for their successful completion of the first year annual Oman GEM National Report 2019-20. I honestly feel that no one else better than me know how much efforts and hard work put on by this research team. This occasion is not only a proud moment for Oman National Research Team, but also for the College of Economics, Management Information System and University of Nizwa as well. Even though Oman national team became a member of GEM in May 2019 and its very first year survey represents that GEM has tracked the rates of entrepreneurship across multiple phases and assessed the characteristics, motivations and ambitions of entrepreneurs as well as the attitudes of the Omani society towards such activity. The Sultanate of Oman demonstrated a high cultured affinity for entrepreneurship in 2019. I think we all have witnessed an excellent, resourceful and remarkable research work done by the Oman GEM National Research Team. Congratulations to all of you once again. In this auspicious occasion, we are very happy that Her Excellency Engineer Halima Al Zari, Chairperson of Authority of SMEs Development Oman, has consented to be the chief guest and accepted our invitation to provide opening remarks in this prestigious event. On behalf of University of Nizwa, I express my happiness and heartfelt thanks to Her Excellency Halima Al Zari for joining this event and providing us valuable and insightful opening remarks. I also thank Professor Ahmed Al-Rawahi, the Chancellor of University of Nizwa, our source of inspiration and backbone for this Oman research team. Without his support and timely advices, I don't think this research would have been completed successfully. Thank you, Professor, for all your kind support and for releasing this Oman National GEM Research Report. I also thank Professor Abdullah Al-Kindi, the Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs, and Professor Ahmed Al-Harasi, the Vice Chancellor for Graduate Studies and Research, University of Nizwa, for their wholehearted support always for the good work done by the GEM research team. I also thank the Pro Vice Chancellor and all the deans of various colleges, registrar and directors for their support and active participation. I thank all the presenters for their valuable efforts to present their ideas and views on the entrepreneurship research in this launch event. Without your contributions, this event would not have been successful. I also thank our special guests from GEM Consortium, Professor Alicia and Professor Eileen. They have always extended their support and fullest cooperation to our research team in all possible ways. My appreciation and thanks goes to Engineer Ibrahim Al-Hosni, Chair, SME Committee, Oman Chamber of Commerce and Industries, and Dr. Al-Fadl, Chairman, Oman Chamber of Commerce and Industries, for their cooperation and timely support in all our efforts to organize this event. I also extend my sincere thanks to all the guests from Authority of SMEs Development and the National Center for Statistics and Information for their continuous support and contributions. I also would like to thank Dr. Abu Kausar for taking care of all the technical support, and Ms. Siham Al-Darai, our master student, for her support in designing all the posters and invitations. Last but not the least, I extend my special thanks to the faculty members and students of all institutions, including University of Nizwa and all other participants from various industries and organizations. I hope and expect all the participants of this event would have been highly benefited from the rich and useful information we have shared with all of you. For any further assistance and support, please feel free to contact us through email or call us over phone for further collaboration on this research. Thank you very much. See you all in the future events of CEMIS, University of Nizwa. Bye and good night. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for the Chancellor and all of our guests.
Thank you. Thank you.
And also His Excellency Halima, she left and she also leaving before 3 o'clock. She has a meeting at that time. So she said to you goodbye, and she great appreciate this event. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. The event went on very well. Thank you very much for all of you for the good support.
Congratulations.
Dr. Kausar, you can stop live streaming. Dr. Kausar.
Yeah, I stopped.